Hello, it's Kat from staycalmandcontent.com. I was asked a great question a couple of days ago by Chloe in the group, so I just thought I'd pop on and do a quick live about resilience, which is kind of one of my favourite topics that I talk about and work with clients about. So if you send me your email address via my website, I will send you the resilience balloon, and then you can watch this video again and do it for yourself. So I'm going to talk you through the stages of the balloon and why I think it's such a helpful concept really and metaphor for resilience. So I always start with the basket down the bottom here, and in the basket that's about our fears. So this is the first thing we've got to think about whenever we're talking about stress or resilience, is trying to figure out what is it exactly that we're actually afraid of. So everybody has that basket, no matter how successful or inspired you are by somebody and how easy you think they have it or how well you think they're doing, they're still going to have that little basket of this hot air balloon analogy, which is when they don't feel good enough in some way or don't feel kind of loved enough in some way. That's what it boils down to. We have these little things that think, you know what, in that situation, I don't feel competent, I don't feel good enough, or with that person, I don't feel, again, good enough or kind of appreciated enough or something. They're the people or the things that really get to our self-confidence and our feeling of that stress question, which is, can I cope with this? So stress is just a question, can I cope with this? And if we're a resilient person, or if we're a confident person, then a lot of the time it'll be, yeah, I can cope with this, even though it's tricky, even though it's hard, I can cope with it. But in this balloon, we're kind of asking ourselves, what are the things then about this situation that I might be finding stressful, whatever it is for you, that I feel I can't cope with? And it's important to nail that down first of all and put that there. Now, the next part of that, you see I've put FEAR. Now, that stands for false appearing real, because our fears, 99.9% of the time, are actually not real. They're not a real threat to us. We don't really need to feel that you can't cope with it, because probably if it came true, you probably could. So it's kind of challenging that fear, first of all, is really important. So for me, in my basket, it would be, maybe I'm not good enough because I'm not earning as much as maybe other people are. That could be that hang up that we have, a kind of, I'm not successful enough yet. It's not working well enough yet. That could be one for me. Another one for me, I have a degree in physiotherapy. I don't have a degree in counselling, but I do have 12 years experience. So if my not good enough could be, well, I should have done a psychology degree. I should have done a counselling degree. I should be better like those people over there. But actually what happened was I did a physiotherapy degree and I've done lots of courses and obviously training and qualifications and experience since then. But you can see how we can feel this imposter syndrome is often what's in that basket. Now, the next element of this resilience balloon is thinking about, so if you see these strings that are tying the basket to the ground, I use that in the analogy to think about, okay, when this basket is feeling heavy, and we have these feelings of, I don't think I can cope with this, often we will use unhelpful strategies that kind of metaphorically tie us to the ground. And that would be taking it out on ourselves in some way or taking it out on other people. Now, neither of those two ways of coping actually get us anywhere. And I'll see them a lot as a counsellor, as a coach. A lot of people will come to me and they will have a lot of unhelpful strategies that they've been using to feel better. Could be alcohol, could be painkiller abuse, could be lots and lots of negative self-talk, overeating, undereating. They're mainly things that we're trying to control what we can because of this heavy basket that when we feel out of control. Or the other thing I'll see is a lot of abuse of other people. We'll take it out on other people. And I notice from myself, as some of you might know that have come across my book before, and where that book came from, the stories within the book, and it's on Amazon, but the story is that when I was feeling like I couldn't cope, that's where I got the keep calm and carry on, that stay calm and content message, was when I noticed with my husband out on the front line in Afghanistan, I started taking things out on my children and on those around me. I thought, where's this sort of negative, naggy mum coming from? And it's because that stress question was saying to me, can I cope with this? And I was thinking, no, I'm frightened. I don't know what to do. So I noticed I was becoming someone I didn't want to be. So, and then the next part of it is this part. I've got a little thing that says nickname. That's where you're going to say, if we're thinking about this fear that isn't really real, one of the most effective psychological techniques that's been researched is to imagine that fear as a separate entity. So if my fear is that imposter syndrome, I imagine that when I ever get that feeling of I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm going to get found out, you imagine that actually as a separate being and you give it a nickname. So mine might be that imposter gremlin. So whenever I'm faced with new challenges and new situations, which I am a lot, I'll get a call saying, could you come and speak in this school? And for the first time in November, I'm speaking to a group of parents, and the head teacher, big prestigious school, wants me to deliver a particular message to the parents. Haven't actually spoken to parents before, but I've done a lot of other things, so I should be okay. But if that imposter gremlin came in, I would have to say to him, I see you. I know what you are. You're trying to fill me with sort of self-doubt, but it's separating yourself. So it's not you. It's a separate entity that you can say, I've got this. You can back off and I can deal with this, and you're not true. So that's why that psychological technique is to, again, if it was a fear of flying or a fear of spiders, you try and say, it doesn't define me. This is a separate fear. A bit like Winston Churchill with his black dog of depression, if anyone's heard of that. He imagined his depression was a black dog that came and went, but he could handle it. And when he came, he sort of talked to him and managed it, and the black dog would go away and come back. But that was his technique. So the next part, I put a favourite quote of mine. So we're now onto the strings of the balloon. So the basket is a sort of the stress part, the negative part that we're dealing with and how we might not help ourselves. But the strings is that mindset. So if you've heard of growth mindset, that's when we say, I never lose. I either win or I learn. So if, for example, in November, I do speak to my first group of parents and for some reason the gremlin imposter has turned up and I do have a bit of a thing and I kind of mess it up in some way, I haven't lost, have I? If I don't take it out on myself and I don't take it out on others, instead I use it as a growth. I haven't lost, I've learnt. So of course I'm going to get better next time. And I use that a lot to say there is no lose. I either win or I learn. So for you, whatever challenge you're facing, if you think that went so badly wrong, you've learnt. Brilliant. What about next time? Always going to be better. So that brings us into a much more positive space of our great big balloon, which is these are all the loves. These are all the things to feel positive about rather than the things to feel afraid of. And as you can see, the fears, they're there, they're very real, but we need to keep them small and in perspective. So the next thing, have you heard of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique? Look it up on YouTube. I say that's a very good thing to do. I'll show you just quickly. So it's called the tapping technique as well. And again, if I've got that imposter syndrome, I might do it just before my presentation in November, perhaps, if I am feeling quite worried about it. And I'll start here. They're on the acupressure points. And then I go up here and I say, as I'm tapping, even though I feel the way I do, I absolutely and completely love and accept myself. So if I was feeling anxiety, like 9 out of 10, I would carry on like this 3 times. I give a big deep breath. And I'd say, even though I feel this anxiety, I absolutely and completely love and accept myself. And as you do this sort of 3 or 4 times, just try it for yourself. I know it looks really strange, but there's lots of YouTube videos on it, lots of research on this as well for teenagers and all of us. Even though I feel this anxiety or this fear or this frustration or this anger or this grief, whatever it might be, I absolutely, completely love and accept myself. And that has been proven to reduce that high intensity feeling from like a 9 or a 10 down to a 7 or a 6. And you can do that any time that you're feeling overwhelmed with kind of uncontrollable emotions. And it is a practical strategy and a useful strategy for getting those feelings down, just so they can feel more manageable and then not, as we say, overwhelming us and controlling us. Now, another thing I talk about is liquid luck. So the power of our imagination. Remember, you're going to get this PDF if you emailed me via the website. So if you've ever watched Harry Potter, I love the clip of Ron Weasley. He comes into the Great Hall and he's terrified of playing a Quidditch match. And Harry gives him a vial of liquid luck. He drinks it, instant self-belief, instant self-confidence, goes out and plays a game of his life. Now, I know that's just a movie, but actually Harry had given him nothing at all. When the movie carries on, that's what you find out. And that's just the same for all of us. The greatest control I have over my ability is my imagination. So even just now, if you were having a session with me, what we might do is, or you can do it yourselves, you would imagine a time. So imagine a time that I've felt full of confidence for a talk I'm going to give. A time when the ones I absolutely love, the ones that I've done a lot, would be with children in schools. I've done quite a lot of inset days. So if I'm talking to the parents in November and thinking, oh, this is a bit new, I'm going to use my imagination to step into that person that I want to be. And our body doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. And if we imagine hard enough, or you imagine that you're somebody you admire. So I love Brené Brown. If you haven't seen her TED Talk on the power of vulnerability, it's my number one favourite thing. Google it and YouTube it. So I'm going to imagine next time I'm facing something really difficult that I'm actually Brené Brown and I can do it, because if she can do it, I can imagine I'm her, and how would she handle this? So really powerful technique for anyone of any age to use that imagination, and your body will respond accordingly. Your heart rate will go down, you'll feel, and you will step into that confident person, and that's exactly what you will be. Now, the next level is I am grateful for. So I use this, the power of gratitude. If you watch my TED Talk, you'll see that this is the right wall. So I've done the left wall is negativity, and the right wall is about the opposite of that. The opposite of fear is actually gratitude, and figuring out that our brains get very easily triggered by threats. It's that fight or flight response. What do I need to worry about? So we have to consciously look, research tells us, for at least 7 things to feel positive and grateful about for every one of the things that threatens us. So that's what this section is for. At least 7 to 10, as many things as you can think of. If you've got some threats in your basket, what about the things that are going well? So I've got here how far I've come, clients I've helped, family. In those moments of doubt, I kind of go, no, I've got lots of things to feel positive about. The next section is about self-talk. So I'm aware I'm going through this quite quickly, but I didn't want this to be too long. Always message me if you have any questions. So in our heads, we have 2 voices. Here's my little gremlin. This is a voice that, again, everybody has. It's just that successful people, in my opinion, have learnt to turn it down as much as possible. So here's your gremlin that says, you can't do this. You're not good enough. There's other people more qualified than you, that are better than you. Like, who do you think you are? Like, you're going to mess up. Everyone's going to laugh. That horrible little voice that just says, don't bother, don't try, just give up. We don't want to listen to him, do we? We want to listen to our best friend voice, Winnie the Pooh, everyone's best friend. He's the voice that we need in our heads. We would never speak to other people the way that we often speak to ourselves. So if my best friend was facing a challenge in November, I would be saying, look at everything you've done. Just build on that. Like, bring yourself. You don't have to do anything more. Just be who you are. Bring all that knowledge you have. Bring all that passion and enthusiasm, and it will come across and you will be fine. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what my Winnie the Pooh voice says. And I listen to that a lot more now and turn that volume up and turn down the volume on that little gremlin. So that's that section. The next section towards the top, we're almost at the top now, just 2 left, So this is important when it comes to relationships. Now, it's not all about us with resilience, is it? You know, it is about saying, when that stress question comes up, can I cope with this? If the answer is not on my own, no, then absolutely fine. You know, again, the most resilient, confident people use those around them. And one of the quickest ways to help ourselves is to help others. And that's why I'm really keen to be a mentor in the group that I'm speaking to right now, but I'm going to put this on YouTube. So I want to help others, because the second I do that, I also help myself. If I'm speaking to you in a positive way about, yes, you can do it, I'm hearing it at the same time. If you can do it, I can do it. So it's a win-win. And I believe it's very important to acknowledge who's there that helps you, who speaks positively to you, and who finds value in who you are. So it's very important to say, I know that I'm of value to these people, and I know I can ask them for help, and I know I'll help them. So think about the others in your team that are side by side with you, that you can support and that you can ask for support from. Now, the last, very top section, things that lift me up and help me to shine. This is really bringing that oxygen into your balloon. Now, everything is energy around us. So if you are getting negative energy from someone or something, you do have a choice how you use that energy, and you can actually channel it into increasing your self-belief and to challenge that energy into things that were going to help you, rather than negative things that are going to, as we said at the beginning, tie you down. So for me, I like... Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs. And in my example now, I play in a brass band on a Thursday, Farndon, that's near Chester, Farndon Brass Band. And the 6 needs are met within things like bands, choirs, activities, sports, so probably things that you do, hopefully. The first need is certainty. So it brings me certainty, because every Thursday I know I'm going to go to band. So it's certainty, and it's a rhythm, and it can be relied upon, and I feel safe with that every Thursday. The second need we need then, when we're certain and when everything's fine, we can get a bit bored. So then we need variety, because I wouldn't want to go to band every week and play exactly the same stuff. That would be boring. So it's new music, it's different challenges, it's different concerts and performances, variety. Number 3 is significance. Again, I feel significant at band. I have my seat, I play the solo horn. If I'm not there, someone else might fill in, but I'm the solo horn player and I need to be there, so I feel significant. Number 4 is connection. That's connection to my fellow band members. We have a cup of tea at the break and I feel connected and important and valued. Number 5 is growth. In theory, I get better being in the band. And number 6 is contribution. We don't get paid, we're doing this for nothing, but we contribute to concerts, we raise money, and it fills that need as well. So there's your 6 human needs. And if you feel that you're not in a place at the moment where you feel you're meeting all of your needs, and you're not really filling that balloon up with oxygen, that balloon of feeling good about yourself, basically, then think about which of the 6 needs you might need to be thinking about meeting a bit better. So is it certainty? Do you need more certainty in your life? Do you need more variety? Do you need to feel more significant? Do you need more connection with others? Do you need more growth? Do you need to develop and grow? Or do you need to contribute more? I'm going to leave that with you just now. I think that's been long enough. I hope you have enjoyed that. There is the resilience balloon. So via staycalmandcontent.com or catstaycalm@gmail.com, please drop me a line. I will send you that PDF, and I'd be really happy and pleased to hear your thoughts and questions. I've just jumped on here spontaneously and done that for you. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Bye.